There is breaking news coming in. The government has decided to ban the Jammu Kashmir Liberation Front. Yasin Malik-led organization, the JKLF, has been banned by the central government under the UAPA Act, under the anti-terror law. The man you see on your television screen, Yasin Malik, hailed by some as a Gandhian and others as a terrorist, his organization now stands banned in Jammu and Kashmir. Yasin Malik has had FIRs against him. He is a man who was seen as the first batch of terrorists in 1989-90. He's been held responsible for a terror attack in Srinagar targeting Indian Air Force personnel. 4 Indian Air Force personnel, including a pilot, were killed. They were shot dead by terrorists of the JKLF. Yasin Malik was one of those terrorists suspected to be involved in it. However, according to sources in the government and those who've been watching developments in Kashmir for some time, Yasin Malik then was allegedly used by the establishment to counter Pakistani terrorists. He is also the man who's gone across the line of control and sat on protests. He's consorted in the past with Pakistani state-sponsored terror. Now, finally, a strong decision has been taken and the JKLF has been banned under anti-terror laws. This is news that is just coming in. India Today's Kamaljeet Kaur Sandhu, tracking the Ministry of Home Affairs, joins us with the latest on this big story. Kamal, what more can you tell us about action against the JKLF?
Well, Gaurav, this is huge because after Jamaat's ban, we've seen Yasin Malik-led JKLF being banned under the anti-terror laws. Now, remember, there are past sins to pay for, but here it is, the centre banning JKLF. This is seen as a major crackdown on separatist leader. Now, we've been hearing for quite some time that there would be a crackdown on Hurriyat. The first step in this regard is to crack down on JKLF. We already know that Yasin Malik is in prison in Jammu in Kot Balwal jail. We've also been known that there are cases which are being pursued by the NIA, by the ED. There are several cases for which he's wanted, and these are all some of the cases. So very clear.
Kamal, stay with me for a moment. I also want to cut across to India Today's Shuja ul Haq, who joins us from Srinagar with more on the story. Shuja, what more can you tell us? This is one man who was considered extremely strong in and around the Maisuma area in Srinagar, but he's also somebody who's been on either side of the divide. What more can you tell us about the ban on JKLF?
Well, yes, Gaurav, this is a huge step that has been taken here. Yasin Malik and his organization being banned is being seen as something that definitely is going to have a lot of impact on the ground. Now, we've seen this ban has come after Jamaat-e-Islami was banned just about a couple of weeks back. Gaurav, you and I, all of us have reported and seen how the local politicians have reacted to that ban, from Mehbooba Mufti to Omar Abdullah to Sajjad Lone. Almost everybody has criticized the centre for taking such steps. It'll be really interesting to see whether they will once again do the same thing, hearing now that JKLF has been banned. Now on the ground, the news has just come in. We're still trying to gather the information and still trying to figure out what reactions would be there from the ground. We know that Yasin Malik has already been...
Shuja, stay with me for a moment. I quickly want to bring in Mr. Kuldeep Khoda, former Director General of the Jammu and Kashmir Police. Mr. Khoda, your first reaction to JKLF being banned by the government, that's point one. And point two, for the benefit of viewers who are just joining us, why is the ban on JKLF so important? Mr. Khoda.
JKLF was the first militant outfit which started the terrorism in Kashmir, and their first batch had gone across for arms training, and they were sponsored by us at that time. And after that, the involvement of its chief and others is all a matter of record. And the exodus of Kashmiri Pandits also happened because of the killing of the minority people by the JKLF cadre. The Hizbul Mujahideen and other terrorist outfits came into picture later on, after about 2 years of operations of JKLF, and it's a signal to everybody that once an organization is banned, its all members can be arrested, and it sends a very strong message about the intent of government than anything else. And its chief is also involved in several atrocities, several crimes, and the government has initiated action also in that. So that also sends a very positive message. It's a more of intent on the part of the government about its handling of the terror in J&K in particular and in country in general. So it's a move which will help the security forces also into having an atmosphere where they can operate well, although the security forces have to operate under the law.
Yes.
But it shows the intent of the government and the backing of the government into anti-terror operations.
Mr. Khoda, you've headed the Jammu and Kashmir Police. I also have my colleagues Kamaljeet Sandhu and Shujaul Haq with me on the broadcast. Mr. Khoda, I want to understand from you, sir. Was Yasin Malik involved in the killing of Indian Air Force personnel in Srinagar? One, what was that incident? And two, in your appreciation, why was no action taken against Yasin Malik for such a heinous crime, sir?
His involvement was clear always. The case had been charge sheeted in the court. He was arrested and he was on the bail. And during the overtures of the government in the past, when its chief had an occasion also to meet with the then Prime Minister in a so-called meeting of having some breakthrough into terrorist activities in Kashmir and also bringing peace in Kashmir, that sort of effort did not yield any results. And obviously when you have on one hand the chief of the outfit operating, meeting the political leaders at the highest level, at the same time, it puts the security force in a dilemma as to whether they have to at all operate against the terrorist outfits or not. The intention of the government has now become very clear that whether it's a terrorist outfit of A nature or B nature, whether it's local or the foreign terrorist outfit, whether it is sponsored by ISI or Pakistan Army or it is funded locally, though the funding is always coming from outside, it sends a very clear message to the terrorists also, to the people also, to the security force also, as to how the government wants to deal with the terror problem. And the way the government is operating at the moment since last year or so, after the Operation All Out, the things are becoming more and more clear that we mean to deal with it, and we mean to deal with it in a manner so that it is taken care of and it is finished forever.
Absolutely. Sir, stay with me for a moment. That's a very important point you're making. And Kamaljeet, is that the government's intention? Because many would say, Kamal, der aaye, durust aaye. Is that the government's intention? Wipe out entrenched terror interests in Jammu and Kashmir?
Gaurav, what I was trying to tell you earlier also, that post-Pulwama, there's been a firm crackdown, not just on elements which are against India acting within the framework, but also those who have actually been separatists. Now, JKLF was a terror organization. It was a militant organization run in 1990s. There was no action taken then. A lot of people said that there was a free hand which was given to separatist leaders. Whether it was in a bid to get more people to surrender was one question. The other was that this was seen as something which was lenient towards the separatists. But the government is very firm in its action now. There's a major crackdown happening. Some may suspect the timing. Remember, the local leaders, when we're talking about Jamaat-e-Islami ban, whether we're talking about some of the other activities which have taken place in Jammu and Kashmir, the political parties there have reacted differently. Now, post-Pulwama, we've seen a lot of things really changing. One of them has been a crackdown on separatists, and that has been a major action. Yasin Malik is already behind bars. He was put under PSA, taken to Jammu in Kot Balwal jail. We've been speaking to our sources in NI, and they're saying they're soon going to summon and have a custody taken, and he would be shifted to Tihar jail. There will be interrogation, which will be done not just for terror funding, but also other cases.
Very
we've also
interesting.
seen ED crackdown taking place.
Very interesting. Let me also bring in Khalid Shah, Associate Fellow at the Observer Research Foundation, joining me on the broadcast. Khalid Shah, first the ban on Jamaat-e-Islami and now action against Yasin Malik's JKLF. What does it show of the government's intent?
I think the government of India for the first time in last 20 to 30 years is giving a clear signal of what it wants in Kashmir. It's giving a clear signal that no more double dealing, no more playing both sides. The government of India is making it stand very clear that you have to choose one side and you can't be dilly-dallying and playing both sides of the fence. And that, I believe, is a welcome message, because for far too long an ordinary Kashmiri has suffered because of the ongoing conflict in Kashmir. And today, perhaps for the first time, the most pampered people of the government of India, who were pampered by the government of Pakistan, who were pampered by the Indian civil society, are facing the brunt. They are facing the heat for all the wrongdoings that they have done. You know, they're the same people whose kids go and study in the best universities, in the best colleges. They're the same people whose kids get the best jobs. And today the government of India is making it very clear that this won't work. You know, I think the government of India should also make it clear that these people show the same aspirations for their own kids, the kind of aspirations they sell for an ordinary Kashmiri.
Okay.
And today an ordinary Kashmiri gets a clear message that his aspiration is not what Yasin Malik tells him or what Gilani tells him or what Mirwais tells him.
Finally, a step being taken, but will it be taken to its logical conclusion? We'll be tracking the story very closely. This incidentally remains my top focus on India First at 7:25. Kamaljeet Kaur, Sandhu, Shujaul Haq, Khalid Shah and Kuldeep Khoda will join me on India First at 7:25. But for the moment, I now want to shift focus and take us to our sports bureau for all the news from the world of sport.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.